Hello! In this week's episode of Scotland on a Shoestring, DeNiro the Greyhound leads us down through the Scottish borders and then on to England as we visit the town of Hexham. For this wee adventure, we take Mabel the camper van from just north of Jedburgh down over the Cheviot Hills, across the English border and to our destination. Today's journey starts at Leaderfoot in the Scottish borders, where we go in search of Roman military might and Victorian engineering genius.
The old bridge down there is from 1779, but the one that we're here to see is that big thing over there, which is from 1862 and was obviously part of the Great Victorian urge to build more railways.
Leaderfoot has been a crossing point of the River Tweed for at least 2,000 years, as well as the 1800s viaduct, the 1700s wee bridge and the more modern road bridge. There was also a Roman bridge here that is documented, and it was a bridge that went to the big Roman camp that we're now going to go and see if we can find.
Giving you a scale of the bridge, there's Bex, who you just saw running across the other bridge with DeNiro, so she's having a good day today, and so's DeNiro. Right, so we've now been walking for about 10 minutes and have we set a new record for the quickest ever getting lost? I mean, there's a map down there that we both looked at and thought, let's go to the Roman fort. It's just up here, and now neither of us can remember where it is. So there you have an incredible view of the Roman amphitheatre, which we're now going to get a better look at from the drone. And by a better look, I mean see if we can actually see, because to both of us, that just looks like a big empty field. But no, it's a Roman amphitheatre, honest, because this was a massive Roman camp. So lots of cavalry and lots of infantry and trade and Roman hangers-on. This place would have been very busy, but now there is just me working and that pair down there having a wee lie down.
So from above, this is the site of the Roman amphitheatre, and can you see anything there? Because we can't. You could probably imagine there's some sort of marks there, but it's just confirmation bias. But it is a beautiful setting, so while we had the drone up, we had a wee look round and got these stunning shots. I mean, this really is an absolutely gorgeous part of the world. No wonder the Romans liked it so much.
We take you to some underwhelming places, but even he's underwhelmed today.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely the best Roman fort that I've seen. It's probably not even the best Roman fort that I've seen today, to be honest. Just in case you think we couldn't be bothered and we just took you to a random field, there you are. There's the Roman fort there. There's a picture of the amphitheatre that we've just shown you that's nothing to see. There's some amazing stuff that there's nothing to see. There's a picture of what it looked like. Yep. Nothing. All this stuff is on this board and not actually anywhere. They claim that this stuff all came from this site. I don't believe them. I think that came from eBay. It's definitely getting a bit warmer here in the Scottish borders, but it may be raining when we come back.
And we'll probably have different clothes on the next time we come back.
Yeah, we'll have to remember our clothes for continuity.
Our continuity's not good.
Our continuity, you have to concede, is terrible.
The next stop on this mini adventure was Kielder Water because, well, neither of us had been there before, and it turns out Kielder Water is a massive reservoir. And probably even less exciting than the Roman camp. There's a hydroelectric scheme here and lots of forestry, so it's a big forest park, lots of cycling. It's also a dark skies area where there's no artificial light, so you can look at the sky and see the stars. Well, that's the theory anyway. It was definitely more excitement than we could bear, so we left Kielder behind us, reluctantly, or not very reluctantly, and headed down to the town of Hexham.
So this is the historic middle bit of Hexham. That is the old jail, which you can now get into. And over there, that big castle looking thing, is the Moot Hall, which is where they used to have meetings. But yeah, that's where the phrase moot point comes from. They would meet at the Moot Hall and decide things. This is the archway under the Moot Hall, and there is a cathedral, which is quite impressive. There's a lot of quite impressive wee buildings, and big buildings in this place. And Bexy's face has just lit up. There's her lit up face because there's a farmer's market on, so we're going to go and buy some stuff for word tea.
But first, there's a charity shop.
and it's our favourite sort of charity shop. It's a wee Aladdin's cave stuffed to the gunnels with stuff. But my first port of call, obviously, is the record collection to see what wee gems await us in there. And in amongst all the Cliff Richard and Carpenters, there's this, a really nice wee bit of history. A 70 RPM record that would have been something of a status symbol from the days when record players were not cheap. And then there's this wee blast from the past. When I was a little boy, I loved Barbara Dickinson, and I mean loved. She was just amazing.
Well, we had to leave the charity shop because I was getting some very suspicious looks from filming the wonderful, wonderful records. They must think I'm some sort of record expert and I'm going to film it and then buy the cheap ones and sell them for a lot of money. But as you saw, the records in there are almost all complete rubbish.
Look at these lovely plants.
We're just admiring some nice dahlias that are only £6. Those are dahlias, by the way, not big red flowers. I said cathedral, it's actually Hexham Abbey. We're going to go in there for a wee look after we've found a coffee, because we've still not had a cup of coffee this morning. There are lots and lots of lovely little alleyways in this town. I know we're not in Scotland, but still, we've lit it off. It's England, but it's not bad. Look at that, that is really quite pretty. Very, very oldie worldy and a tiny bit Harry Potter. And as Mabel's not here to show you the brightest thing in the world, how about those leggings? Definitely two birds with one stone, because the Abbey has got a cafe and an indoor market. So it's a market, a cafe and a church all in one. Another view of another pretty little bit of Hexham, another view of Pretty Little Bex, who is on the trail of the cafe, which we think is down here. And obviously we're walking past a war memorial to the Northumberland Fusiliers. This is nice, isn't it? It's, oh wow, a nice wee square. I offer you a lot of things on these videos, but I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden.
Never ever seen people playing music on a bandstand. Bandstand?
As you know, we quite like all this stuff, so well, Bex likes all this stuff. I like I'd like to be exploring the Abbey, but we've got to go and look at the band first, because there's a band on a bandstand. Now, over our videos we've shown you a few bandstands. This is the first time we've ever seen an actual band.
Gosh, how nice. Wait till you see the scones in here.
Bex is in her element. Bex is off getting the coffee and I'm sitting here listening to the band. Now, don't say we do not cater for all interests. I bet you did not think you would see a man dancing a hornpipe to a brass band in a bandstand. We certainly did not expect to see a man dancing a hornpipe to a brass band in a bandstand. We do like Hexham. We come here quite a lot, usually when we're doing a park run. This is the first time we've actually done Hexham's own park run though, but we'll spare you that little video. It's a really pretty place, lots and lots of history, and lots of it is still intact, which is always really nice. And here's Bex coming back, having ordered a scone and a coffee, I hope. Come on then, Mr. Crow, how brave are you feeling? You know there's a bit of scone just right there, but are you brave enough to come and get it? Oh, 2 bits of scone. Yeah, this is inside the sort of moderner bit. There's the old bit there, and I know I said moderner again, I heard me say it. It's all very nice, all very impressive architecture. This used to be outside, obviously, and now they've put some stairs and it is now inside. And there's Bex wondering why I'm still talking to myself. And embarrassingly, she heard me say moderner as well. Right, we don't know if we can film in here, but this is going into Hexham Abbey, which looks absolutely amazing from here. This is the little entrance vestibule and lots of little side rooms and side bits, and that's really cool. Right, I'm going to put the camera away now till we find out if we're allowed to film, and if not, I'll tell you about it when I come out. And along this wall they've got little inserts with what I'm guessing are bits of a much older building put into them. There's an old door lintel, window lintel there, and lots of wee bits and pieces in these little alcoves. That's really smart. It's almost like Pictish or Celtic. I suppose we're in Northumberland, so this was a Celtic part of the world. And there's a really cool stained glass window right up there above it that I've just noticed, so in one seamless edit. This place is so cool. A couple of effigies of 14th century women. This is really nice. There's some really old stuff in here, and some much more modern stuff as always, but some really pretty stained glass. So I wonder what this place's story was during the Protestant Reformation, when all the old abbeys were all, well, pretty much destroyed. They were all dissolved and their stuff taken from them. So I wonder how this survived. Probably had patronage from somebody very rich and very important. We had a comment that somebody liked gargoyles, so these aren't exactly gargoyles, but they're still grotesque sculptures. There's a man playing the bagpipes, and there's
a fox preaching to geese.
A fox preaching to geese, apparently. And there's somebody playing a harp, and there's
Nobody. That's called
no
nobody.
idea. I don't know. That's called nobody, is it?
A figure with 4 heads.
All right, a figure with 4 heads.
And then you've got a sheep stealer.
And there's somebody stealing a sheep. That might be one of my ancestors.
And then you've got a jester with a toy.
And that's a jester with a toy.
And Prudence holding a mirror entwined in a snake.
Yeah, somebody with a snake in a mirror, and then I'm not sure what that one at the end is.
That's quite impressive, isn't it?
Isn't it just? It's really cool. Look at it, goes all the way up, the stained glass right up to the point of the roof, and then the wooden roof. It's really nice. This. Oh, and here's some 15th century. We think these are folding seats, but we can't find out because it says there, "Do not touch." Because they're 700 years old and we do not want to break them. And round here there's more effigies, and oh, there's a man with a shield, but the shield has got a big flower on it. Oh, it's actually Sir Gilbert de Umfreville, who was 1245 to 1307. Yeah, he was a member of the Anglo-Norman family which built Prudhoe Castle. So there you are. There is Sir Gilbert's, I don't know if his tomb's still there, but that's certainly the top bit of his tomb. Oh, Bex has just noticed something interesting about this. This is a guy called Thomas of Tyndale, and there's his shield. But instead of lying flat on his back like all the others, he's got his legs crossed. There's one leg coming across here, and the other one used to go down there, and they rested on that lion. What is that horsey there doing to that man down there? Not sure. Oh, flight of stairs. Time for a fast forward. And on the fast forward. Oh wow, you get a really good view of the place from up here. All the medieval stonework and the stained glass and some panels up there. We are quite liking this. This was a good idea of mine to come in here. Oh, somebody's made a complete bells up. What a magnificent organ. This is a really impressive piece of stonework here. There's a stag at the top and a flying head that looks angelic. And I think his name was Gillenimus Johnston. And down the bottom we've got a quite scary looking winged skull eating a radiator. Oh, and another quite impressive chunk of whatever was here before. That is obviously the top of a window with a heraldic type shield at the top. We know nothing about heraldry, so we can't tell you what it is. It looks like some arrows. This is a little quiet chapel where you're not allowed to talk to yourself, but there's some stained glass, and over there's one that's almost as impressive. And the only thing about as impressive as the stained glass is the stonework. So this is the entrance to the crypt, which was only discovered in the 1700s. That's the way down there. I'm going to find the lady who's the custodian of the key and go down there for a wee look. Okay, and we are down in the crypt. I'm actually doing this for the second time because I forgot to press record because I was so excited. As you can see, this is a dark and mysterious tunnel, as we like them, and it's quite interesting. This was only found comparatively recently because the big pillar that's up there, the ones that hold up the roof that you've just seen, was sinking into the ground, and he thought, oh, that's not good. Why is it sinking into the ground? And it turned out the reason it was sinking into the ground was this network of tunnels underneath that he did not know about. This is the North Passage, and this is quite interesting up here. That is actually from the Roman fort at Finlandia. So that is the North Passage, which is, this place is amazing. I thought Bex might have wanted to come down, but I don't suppose it's really her cup of tea, or coffee. And this is heading through into the other passage. That's the really steep stairs that get you back up to get out. Come around here, this is the main chamber. And this is the South Passage, and this is what was used by the monks, and the monks would have come down here from their dormitories that are up around this corner, except you can't get through there anymore because it's all closed off. Yeah, there. is a flight of stairs that would have taken them up to their dormitories. And a lot of the stone here, as you can see, has been reused. This is so smart. This is just like, oh, I'm loving this. This is one of these, I did not know this was here things, but until quite recently, neither did anybody else. So all this worked stone and stone that's obviously from other bits that's been repurposed. This is where the relic of St Andrew would have been kept. It would have been a part of St Andrew's body, allegedly, kept down here for the monks to come down and venerate. Ordinary people would come in from that side, and the monks would come in from that side. This is really cool, I'm loving this. And obviously now we've got nice electric light on this modern interpretation of the altar. But these little things here, the little recesses, would have had animal fat in them with a wick floating. So the light that you would have got would have been from 2 little oil lamps. It would have been quite impressive. This was the centre, the sort of holy centre of the church where all the most important religious artefacts were kept, because it's underground and quite safe. Yeah, so the crypt was actually lost from memory in 1297 after the Scottish raids. And it was rediscovered, as I said before, 1725 when that pillar started sinking into the ground. And if you're wondering how I know that, I'm reading it from that sign. I'm looking for old carvings, but that up there looks like modern spray paint. Probably not, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, down here, this stone that I was looking at earlier is the Geta stone. It was dedicated to the Roman Emperor Geta. And then when he died, his name was obscured. It was all crossed out by his brother, who then became emperor. So Geta was cancelled and deleted before cancelled was a thing. And back up the really dodgy flight of stairs and into the abbey itself. Yeah, it's been forecast to rain quite a lot today, and it's raining quite a lot today. There we go, this is back down the end of that little ginnel that we looked at before we went into the cathedral. It's just, these little streets are brilliant. They've got one in York and one in Lincoln. They're usually called shambles because they're, I guess because they're not very tidy, but it's really cool. And Bex was behind me and is now no longer behind me, so I wonder where she's gone. It'll be my fault that she's got lost. I beg your pardon, I also never promised you a beer garden. It's a Dolly Parton day today. That's 2 Dolly Parton references in one video, you lucky people. That is a hair and beauty place, but it is also the old Hebron Memorial Chapel. And this is more of the little oldie worldy buildings in these narrow and windy streets. Oh, emergency stop. Down this little ginnel there are some long case clocks. How cool are those? The answer to that is of course very, although that one does look quite sad. Sorry Bex, but it was long case clocks and you have to stop and look. That is the rules of YouTube. Are you looking at some nice jewellery, are you? What, you buying me? Alright, we've had my bit of looking at the crypt of a chapel, and now we're going to go and look at Bex's thing, which is charity shops, because I don't like charity shops at all, honestly, as you probably know. That is a nice wee charity shop, and there is Bex to go to the next wee charity shop. The only problem with these wee upmarket tourist towns is expensive charity shops.
Far too expensive.
Far too expensive. £12.50 for a shirt in a charity shop is not going to happen. Bex has just remembered that this is a place that's got 4 or 5 really good charity shops. Oh, target marketing.
Classic.
We having that, are we?
Classic and contemporary cocktails. Will you make any of them for me?
I'll buy you the book. Yeah, so there's a charity shop, and up there, more charity shops. This is Charity Shop Central. Do always love seeing what people have been getting rid of. Somebody has ditched their collection of ducks. Oh, guess the decade? That's a tough one. So we are heading out of Hexham now, heading back towards home. The weather's improving and we've just done a bit of an emergency stop because this is St Michael's Church, which is I think in Wark, but if not I'll correct myself. It's very nice, quite an impressive church, and the reason we stopped is we were rattling past in Mabel, sort of heading for nowhere in particular, and then I saw the churchyard, so I thought this video does not yet have a churchyard in it, now's the time to rectify that. Lots of people on motorbikes have just gone past. I'll have to say all that again, except I can't remember what I said, so I'll make it up. It's a really cool church with some very impressive memorial tombstone things in it. This is the older part. There's a new part over there that I'm guessing is still in use, but this is obviously much older. These are 1700s, 1800s. This is quite interesting. This is the only gravestone that we can see in here that's got a copper insert on it. It's for Catherine, the dear wife of John Eliot, who died in 1919, and then a addendum plate with the rest of the family. The last one died in 19 26, age 99. Another thing that's quite interesting, well, I think it's quite interesting, this one has got the Tree of Life at the top, but it's also got a repair that looks quite old, where they've chipped out the old stone and put in a new block that's a slightly different colour, and then carved it. I wonder if that's because they had to correct the date or something like that. I wouldn't imagine so. It is all quite pretty, and the rain has stopped, so I would put the drone up for a wee look at the church, but there is a house just over there, so I'm not going to. We don't really want to annoy anyone. But let's see what else we can find in this wee graveyard. Oh, and I've just seen something that I say is interesting. You might have a different idea, but I'm the one with the camera, so we're going to go look at this one here first, which is very nice. It's all it's that sandstone, and it's got granite insert. It is very ornate with the carved flowers at the top and the little praying person there, and it's Elizabeth Headley, who died at Hindries, August 16th, 1879. So there you are, that's another wee bit of history for you. Now, you don't usually get this on Commonwealth war graves in the UK, but it says buried elsewhere in this churchyard. You do get that in France and Belgium, where the bodies were buried at the time of the war, and then there was further shelling, so the bodies are here somewhere but they don't know where. This guy has been identified as being buried elsewhere in this churchyard, as you can see, Private Rutherford of the Northumberland Fusiliers, and that to me looks like a very new gravestone, so maybe they've only just found out that he's actually here. Or maybe they know where he is, but they've just figured out that he's entitled to a Commonwealth headstone. Yeah, there's the big house over there. Probably not very keen on having a drone flying up above their wee next door church. Still the yellowest thing in creation, there's Mabel. And over here I've just spotted another interesting stone. That's not like any of the other ones here. It looks like a coffin, doesn't it? A big stone coffin for Jane Ann, widow of Thomas Edward Chapman, who died in 1903. If you go for a wee sleep in Mabel, I'm going to bang on the window. Oh, flip, she's not sleeping. Get you next time.